All right, welcome to the BarberSHED podcast, where we help you to strategically navigate the ups and downs of business, transforming burnout into thriving success. My name is Michael Banks, and I am your host. And today I have a special guest with me today, one of my good friends from the woods area. We all grew up together, and I specifically always wanted to make sure that anytime I do anything where I have an opportunity to put a spotlight on people that I know, people who have had influence on me, people who have helped me in one way or another, I want to make sure that I always put a spotlight on them. And my guest today is Raveece from Red Label. She actually sent me something on how I'm supposed to introduce her. So
come on here, Mike.
All right, let me pull up her card. She is definitely a serial entrepreneur of a luxury brand of premium services and product. What I mostly know her from is Red Label Salon and Body Spa.
You don't see me. You don't see me.
And she's also Master Educator at Chicosi University right now. Mm-hmm. But one of the things that was most impressive was just her culinary skills with Red Label Kitchen. She also has the All About Me Beauty Camp, where it's a non-for-profit mentorship program that she has for young ladies and adult women. Raveece is event planner that I haven't personally had a chance to go to one of her events, but I've always seen the pictures and stuff that are online.
You came to Taco Tuesday.
I did come to Taco Tuesday. Taco Tuesday was pretty dope. She had karaoke there and some them wings that was there. I know it's supposed to be Taco Tuesday, but the wings that you had,
they were good.
Always a hit.
Thank you.
You have online fashion store. Are you still doing that right now?
Yes. Yeah.
Overall, just serial entrepreneur. Raveece is not locked into a box, and I'm sure with all that came with a cost. That came with a cost that I want to kind of explore a little bit. So, Raveece, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Can you currently just bring us up to date of what consumes most of your time right now, currently in business?
Right now, what consumes time would probably be I would say probably just. Well, I'm gonna go with the school. The school does consume a lot of my time right now, but as far as services or things like that, I pretty much got that down packed by now. But time wise, it's the school. The school takes up a lot of the time, but I love it. So
yeah. So over the years, what would you say is the biggest accomplishment for you right now currently?
Biggest accomplishment would be I would say definitely being able to sustain the salon. Even though I've had it for probably I think I'm at 15 years for the Red Label brand, being able to consistently, with all the ups and downs of everything else around that, to be able to keep that going, even with moving locations,
Yeah,
so I would say that was my biggest accomplishment. I kept it exactly what the vision was. Yeah.
Yeah. How managing that and in time managing with you being a mom, relationships, marriages, like how did that work out for you? Like was it difficult managing time? Did you have it down pat? It was a sacrifice.
It is a sacrifice. You sacrifice a lot, from whether you're new in the game or old in the game. If you put in work, you're going to sacrifice. And that was one of the things for me. It was more like everybody just had things to do. I would pass out money because the time of spending quality time was hard to balance in the beginning. And then as the kids got older, it became a little bit easier, but definitely it was definitely a sacrifice. You missed a lot of birthdays, parties of friends' baby showers, all that kind of stuff because we in the salon
Yeah.
working.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So is time management easier for you right now currently?
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel like it got easier um, over the years, but currently now in this phase, it's good. Time management is good. Except I don't have enough time, I would say, to do more work.
Yeah.
Right now, I got people upset because the waiting list is long, or I got to book out weeks to a month or so and hit ahead of time. And so that is a small little issue, but it's a good issue to have.
Yeah.
But time management between all the things that I got going on is much better. I've just
Yeah.
decreased some stuff too.
So if you have this waiting list and you got people trying to get in to see you, but yet you spend a lot of time as an educator right now with Chicosa
Yeah.
University, that must be something that's really important to you right now. Can you tell me a
Oh,
little bit about that?
yeah. So I started teaching in 2004. So like I'm telling my age, yeah, 2004. But so I've worked in a couple different settings of schools, but I most love actually traveling to teach classes, right? So everything has always been about education, continuing education with me. From my mentor saw that in me, So, but Tricosi itself is it's a university, has multiple locations. I love teaching the students that I have, old students, new students. But it's a challenge because I want my own school.
Yeah.
So I'm not plugging Tricosi. I love my director and my
Yeah.
team, the executives. But at the same time, my end goal is for Red Label educational concepts.
Nice.
Yeah.
I remember being in school and and even when I go visit school sometimes the teachers are kind of far removed from day-to-day services. So they're your students have an advantage right now because you're still active.
Yeah,
Um,
sure.
yeah. So I think how this started is that your students really pull on you for mentorship and guidance, even beyond what you're doing in the classrooms.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that a little bit and what that experience is like?
Oh, it's good. I love my babies. Like I call them Essie babies because I'm on the Essie side of things now. So sometimes I'm on cosmetology, sometimes I'm on the esthetician side. So currently in the esthetician phase right now. They're great. I always get a good group of young ladies and a few guys, and they have questions beyond questions like, well, what do I do after school? After I graduate. How soon do I take the state board? Can I call on you for this? Or I mean, they're great, and I'm here for them to answer any question. But they pull me from all different areas. Like they see all sides of Miss Ray.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but it's a good side, good sides so
Yeah.
far.
So me thinking about the students and me thinking about the listeners and me just knowing people,
Yeah,
right? People have a tendency of wanting to be perceived a certain way,
mm,
but what they actually go through in secret, they don't really want to reveal, right? I'm very transparent. I'm either super quiet and you'll never hear me say nothing, or I'm an open book. So me doing this podcast and me exposing myself, I'm not trying to transform into a different person.
there
I'm
you
turning
go.
this camera on and I'm gonna be me. You're gonna see the good, the bad,
For
and
real,
ugly. You're gonna see me mess up. You're gonna see me thrive. You're gonna see me fall down. You're gonna see me get back up again.
that's it.
so I really have the listener in mind, and then me thinking about since the students are important to you, I really want to make this episode dedicated to your students and also to those that in secret are really going through. So where I want to land the conversation is with some practical ways that people can navigate through difficult times in business when you're working for yourself. So that's where I want to kind of land at.
Okay.
But how I want to start this off is just kind of go through. I did a little bit of research on common pain points that solo minority solopreneurs
Yeah.
go through. So I wanted to really,
This
really
is
niche
good.
down. And one of the first ones that was a common pain point against people that just do everything themselves in business is time management. We talked
Oof.
about that just a little bit, but what I want to ask you is that first, let's just get a clear like yes or no. Was time management a struggle for you in the beginning?
Yeah, time management is a huge topic. Yes, it was a struggle in the beginning.
Yeah.
I felt like right out of school, I was like, okay, client coming at 9 o'clock. I gotta be ready, by not 8:45. That was the thing right out of school. And then when I got into situations with other salons or barbershops, I would say, I kind of picked up some of the bad habits of people waiting and taking their time, that type of thing. I slipped a little bit,
Yeah.
and I had to get it right back. But for sure, time management was a thing because when coming straight out and going straight into school, which I had a small clientele from beauty school that followed me, you're allowed time, while you're in school to do these services. But when you get on the floor or get into the real world, it everything starts moving at a faster pace, and so you got to kind of control it a little bit. So definitely slipped off a little bit on clients waiting,
Mm-hmm.
having to move clients around, not understanding properly how to manage my books. That's something that they do not really talk about. They let the compute in school go in there. They let the computer, the software, or the receptionist, the hired receptionist, help maintain the clinic floor in the schools. But then the student may not know how to do that themselves, so that was a hard thing. I was still, when I started, everything was written down in books. So you could have made a mistake and made a 6 or 8, and you like, wait, I
Yeah.
thought you was coming at 8 o'clock. Oh, you here? You know, it wasn't no automate. It wasn't the software we're using. Now I didn't have it when I started. It was literally eraser in the book.
Yeah.
But yeah, timing is very important. I struggled with it in my first year of
Yeah.
coming straight out. Yeah.
And sometimes I think we put so much emphasis on just the business part, but solopreneur, I mean, we got two sides of us. We have our business life and we have our personal life.
Mm-hmm.
How has a lack of um, understanding time management and being able to implement it, how did it in general affect your personal life?
Man, Mike, people gonna think like, well, what was you doing? Everybody had an appointment. The boyfriend, the husband, the friends, my mama, everybody had to be in the appointment book because once I got locked in that these are my time slot, you hustling in the beginning. I'm available. If I ain't got no client, I'm out passing out work. I'm working.
Yeah.
I'm even if nobody's in the chair, I'm still working, whether I'm on the phone or I'm sending emails or I'm outside passing out. So that was a big issue family wise. They were like, "Oh, you're never available."
Yeah.
I got hurt too. I got hurt because the times I were available, I'm like, why y'all invite me to the baby shower, right? Nobody,
Yes.
I wanted to go get a cocktail, and it's like, oh, well, you say no, you're not gonna say no so many times. I figured since it was last minute, I wasn't gonna say nothing. So I get a lot of that too, like, oh, you're always busy, so we just didn't invite you.
Yeah.
So that was a problem for me. But then as far as the kids, I had them jokers sitting in the shop with me. That go right over there, get the broom. Somebody for the sweep. I got to the point to where they wanted to learn how to cut hair. So yeah, so they were the boys was in the salon. So wherever I
Yeah.
went, they went. I even had the puppy in the salon. You know, I had a new puppy. I had her. That was Joy. She was right up under my station in the bag. And one of us or some of the staff will take out But time management, personally, um, it it only hurted me when I felt like I wanted to be a part of something and I wasn't. But as far as making time out, cutting, like carving time out to spend with people, I literally had to put it in my plumbing book.
Yeah.
Like once I got rolling, I was rolling. It was like, yeah, oh, that's at 6. Darn, I can't, not to 7:30. So you're late coming to a lot of stuff
Mm-hmm.
because you never know what happens when you're working. Somebody might add on a service. You might say yes, you might say no. Maybe a color project didn't go as well as you anticipated. So you got to revamp some stuff, and be in there a little longer. So, yeah, it was, and that still happens, but I've learned, people know now, but I've learned how to manage a little better.
Yeah.
Um, but in the beginning, it was rough. You felt left out because you're sacrificing. People don't really understand how much hard work you have to put into that management part, that
Yeah.
time management, that ending part, because I'm managing how to make money.
Mm-hmm.
My social life came last. And mistakes happened in the middle where it was like, oh, I forgot to include the husband in that time too. So, yeah, married to the business,
Yeah. Yeah. I can definitely relate. That's still a
Hmm.
struggle for me. Still a struggle for me. And it
Yeah.
still hurts when you don't get invited to stuff because people just assumed that you weren't going to be available. Man, that
Oh, how
sucks.
about this? Nobody's never available when you're available as an
It,
entrepreneur,
yeah.
right? When you're running your own business, you have all these different hats that you're wearing, right? In ownership and operating. You're like, oh man, I'm free. It's Saturday. It's still light outside.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yep.
what? Let's say it's 6 o'clock. Where everybody at? You
Yep.
know, oh, they
Yep.
they ain't available. And you like, okay, so I end up doing a lot of stuff alone. And
Mm.
then if you can catch on, hey, this is where I'm at. If you can come, great. I traveled along as well. So
Yeah.
it was, sacrifice.
So again, I want to
Yeah.
reiterate for all your students and future listeners, this is dedicated towards you. So I hope that you can just hear Ray's story, a little bit of mine, just to take
Yeah.
take mental notes of like, I don't want you to think or mistake that I'm saying that this has to be the norm. We're going to land on mentorship at some point in time. And the whole point of mentorship is to give you information of what we went through so that you can avoid a lot of it.
Exactly.
So pain point number 2 that's most common amongst minority
Mm.
solopreneurs that do everything themselves is this feeling like you just got limited resources. Feeling like, man, if I was this kind of person or born in this type of situation, or if I
Mm-hmm.
or like, because I don't have a partner, I don't have these certain resources, right? And has that been an issue for you, feeling like you didn't have certain resources at your disposal?
Yeah, for sure. I'll start with that's definitely a challenging pain point because too many people give up when they feel like they don't have the proper resources. But how do you know if you've never done it? How do you know
Right.
what's the right resource? So you start testing stuff, right? Try this, try that. But one of the things for me, I could say, okay, you say no names. I reached out. I was trying to reach out. Like I'm like, hey, simple stuff. What kind of shampoo bowl is that? Where you get it from? It's kind of
Mm-hmm.
like I'm trying to rob the bank or something. The way people reactions were to some stuff, like trying to start a hairline. Hey, somebody got some vendors. It was like selling crack. They was like drug dealers. They didn't want to give up the connect. I'm like, shoot, where? I'm just trying to find out if you can point me in the right direction to do this or do that.
Yeah.
So good thing I did have mentors to reach to, but then things that I wanted, maybe they weren't up to date with, or they weren't in that area of the field, that particular area. But resources was hard. You had to Google a lot of stuff. And, when I started, it wasn't all this. I told you before, I was late getting on social media. By the time I was getting on MySpace, it was ending and Facebook was coming out. And I'm like, okay, so, now everything's readily available. For most cases. Now it's just like a trial and error. It's thousands of vendors, hundreds of suppliers, and billions of brands you can choose from. It's
Yeah.
not so tight and like it was at first. It was hard to get information. People
Yeah.
that want to sell their secret, they felt like he was going to cut them out, or steal some money from them or something if they gave you some resources.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was rough, but hey, me being me, I just kept doing what I do. I'm gonna find a way. I'm gonna make a way out of no way. And if I can't get a resource, I'm gonna be the resource. I'm just
Yeah.
gonna start it. Just gonna start it my way.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
being that driven and being that determined to find your
Mhm.
way and make it your way, what did that cost you personally?
Man, I probably would be a billionaire right now, financially. But choose time, um, heart sacrifice, heartache, money. Choose even personal stuff like not having like, well, now we're doing the whole self-love self-care stuff,
Mm-hmm.
which I 100% in on it, right? But I even lacked on myself at times.
Yeah.
Did for everybody else, gave, did. I started feeling like I was being used.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I felt like I was the person to come to. I got this. I was free to share resources. Once I got them, here you go. Who need it? What's up, right? Because
Yeah.
I know it's going to come back to me, whether I get it from them or I get blessed with it in some kind of way. So it didn't. I was okay with that, which is why I was really wanting to be an instructor. But yeah, but I felt like I was being used at some
Mm-hmm.
point. I felt like, hey, I got the mentality already that I work for my employees because I have to perform so that they can perform, right?
Yeah.
That was how I was thinking, how I thought a lot, most times. But yeah, I started feeling like just just toss me away, just use, like they people were family, friends, close employees or co-workers. Um, They were all sweethearts. The guys were nice. Everybody was good to me in their own way. But what I felt deep down that I didn't express to a lot of people was I felt used.
Yeah.
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 But I would never tell them that because I ain't gonna be soft in front of nobody. But but yeah. No, I did feel that my own a long time when you by yourself after you've done 1,000 jobs in that one day that you feel like one person might not be able to handle 5 of those positions that you carry. It's a lot on your shoulders, right? So you just want to decompress, be away from people and woosah, but you still need it. Something's gonna pop up. Need this, need that, and I'm talking about in the case of owning multiple businesses,
Yeah.
which some of the students I know wants to do product lines, so this is really good because this will also let them see like that time management piece and resource piece that you pointed out is really huge, really, really huge. You need to plan for that like right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So going into business for yourself and now you're on this learning curve and you're trying to learn how to take all the technical skills that you learned in school and service the clients and learn them and learn personalities and manage them and in certain services you're trying to get your time together with that, and then you got your personal life, and then
Mm-hmm.
it's learning outside of school. Now you're learning, like, you're more than just a technician. You have to manage your accounting, you have to do your bookkeeping,
Yeah.
and bookkeeping and account managing, although they are in the same thing, sometimes they can be two different
They
things, right?
are.
And then you have to learn, how does credit play a part in this, right? So now you're learning, okay, how do I build my personal credit? And by the time you realize that, wait a minute, I shouldn't even be using my personal credit, I need to build business credit and create a separation, because
Mm.
because now
Mm.
that I done put everything in my personal name, now me trying to apply for a house, I'm getting denied because
Got too much stuff going on.
I got too much stuff going on.
Mm-hmm.
And then by the time you learn all of that, and then you start learning about, I personally didn't have a lot of mentors. I had a lot of anti-mentors coming up. I had a lot of people that I kept around close to me to remind me of what I don't want to become. but I never,
Ooh, that'll preach right there.
but I never had until I didn't get my first real mentor until 2015. So I had already been in the business for years before I had a real mentor, someone that really, really guided me. So I made a lot of mistakes, but I'd be so laser focused on trying to be the best that I can be that time management wasn't there, and I missed a lot of birthdays. I might have been physically there, but mentally I'm learning something. I'm someplace else. So I missed out on a lot of opportunities to really build meaningful relationships in my family,
Yeah.
especially when I started, experiencing those limited resources. I started believing this lie that because I was doing everything myself, because of how my family is structured, then it's just certain things that I just couldn't have. It's just certain things that I just accepted was just gonna be how it was in my life. And that was until I got my first mentor. But by the time I got my first mentor, I didn't realize I was in a place of burnout. And I was operating in a place of burnout. And in that burnout became so normal to me that I didn't even recognize it as being burnout. And one of the number 3 most common things that solopreneurs, especially that are minorities, face is feeling isolated, like they're alone, which
Um,
leads to burnout. Did you ever feel that way?
um, yes, I definitely reached a point where I felt like I was done, like cooked, burnt all the way out, right? And when I sat back and thought about everything, I remember praying one day. I was like so upset, like I think I missed a friend's wedding or something, and I was like really upset, like looking at pictures, like I should have been there, type of thing. Um, I felt, I felt like well, let me tell you this. I worked so many hours and then it just became like a robot. I felt like I was becoming like a robot. Like
Mm-hmm.
every day up, drink the coffee, out the door, take it with me, boom, 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 do services all the way sometimes to midnight. Start
Yeah.
over, do it back again, right? Um, I was living the lifestyle I wanted, but it was lonely. It was kind of lonely, because you like
Mm-hmm.
where everybody else said you got energy, they
Right.
sleep. But yeah, the burnout can definitely happen. I didn't reach it all the way to the peak.
Yeah.
Then was trying to find ways to avoid it. Um, but yeah, I did get burnout in a field that I thought I was passionate about, but it didn't work out. And when the pressure came on, I was like, I ain't got to do this.
Yeah.
I'm a cosmetologist and an esthetician. I ain't got to do this,
Right.
So
Right.
let things go. But you have to start cutting stuff off,
Yeah. Yeah.
things and people.
Yeah. I think what was hard for me was that I was in a place of burnout that I didn't recognize a burnout, but because I have children that are dependent on me to get up, I always tell them every morning, "Hey, I'm getting up to go hunt." I tell them that every single day. There's no reason that I could find to justify me ever looking my children in their eyes and say, I can't do it no more. Whatever it is that I don't have, I always found more. And if I absolutely ran out, I went and
Yeah.
found somebody else's and borrowed theirs to bring it back, because I could never look in my children's face as a man and say, I'm too tired to provide for you. Not only physically provide for you, but I had to model at least what I
Mhm.
believed before my male children. I have 5 sons, and I always wanted to model before them, not just in words and what I say, but in action
Yeah.
and what I did. I wanted them to be able to see that no matter how I felt, they were my number one priority to take care of them. And when I felt down, I still pushed forward anyway. But that caused me to feel alone a lot. Like
Yeah.
nobody really understood the pressure. Nobody really understood the responsibility. Nobody really understood the secret anxiety that I felt. And because I constantly live in that place, that just became normal.
Mm.
Did you ever have a moment in your career where everything was just moving fast and you juggling a lot that you just accepted that this is just life?
I did accept it as that. And I ended up on the side of the road, couldn't breathe, having a panic attack. I think I had got like 4 calls in one day about some stuff with the salon, because at that point I had two locations of the salon. The restaurant was forming, beauty camp was happening in like 3 weeks. Money was funny because it was being put 4 different places. Um, don't know what was going on in the marriage at that time. I don't know. I think I was about to get a divorce. I don't remember. Something like that. It was a lot, right?
Yeah.
And so pain in my chest. I really felt like I couldn't breathe. And I pulled over and I immediately called my grandfather. And he told me, don't move. But I guess he called Amherst. Amherst came. He came, got the car. They met me at the hospital. And they was like, yeah, you're stressed. I'm like, what? No, I'm not. Fine. I gotta event. I gotta get to an event. I'm gotta go. Like, how long is this gonna take, nurse?
Right. Right.
I still was not accepting it, right? I wasn't accepting it yet until she was like, yeah, you need, I'm like, stress test. What is that? I'm like, no, that's not for me.
Yeah.
I'm good. I work out. I don't need that stress. That's how I felt. But yeah, so that happened, and how I came out of that, I ended up my pastor at the time, and my pastor at the time for this church I was attending, which was my family at that point. He saw it. He was like, "You something look wrong." I'm like, "What?" He was like, "You like you." I was losing weight, and I was like, "We just did a workout boot camp, pastor at the church too. That week," and he was like, "No, something not right." So him and First Lady prayed for me, and I sat down, and she was like, "I just need you to be still for an hour." And I was like, like a little kid, like somebody just took something like. She's like, be still. She just kept telling me in my ear, be still. And in that moment, I just poured out, went through a whole travail. Just, she was like, I need you to do this every day, twice a day. Sit, be still.
Wow.
I was like, I didn't know how. I was just running,
Mm-hmm.
doing,
Mm-hmm.
doing, doing. I didn't know
Exactly.
how to be still. Like, oh, got an idea, got this, got that. So time and burnout, time management, burnout go like this, because
Mm-hmm.
once you keep going without managing the time, you're gonna burn out. You're
Yeah.
gonna burn out, or your health is at risk, right?
Yes.
So yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
This doesn't
I know
have
it's
to
a lot.
be. Yeah. And I know it leads into other things that you've experienced, and I really would like to leave enough for people to want to hear more about your journey and more about what you've experienced, especially with dealing with clients and dealing with um we have somebody in the chat saying good convo.
Oh,
And
who's that? I can't see the stuff.
Oh, you can't see that. Someone by the name of Terry says good convo. I
Oh,
believe your
hey, TT. Mm-hmm.
Miss Peaches, I believe that's your mom. She says, I'm definitely a witness to her movements.
Oh,
Um,
for sure.
yeah,
My
so
ace.
yeah, that's how the support of your mom, what role did that play in you being able to
Wow.
sustain?
I laugh because I be thinking like half of the stuff that I'm able to do now, I wouldn't have been able to do if she wasn't as who she was, right? Because my mom was the manager, she was the receptionist, she was the babysitter, she was the cook. She brought food to the salon on set. She knew I wasn't eating.
Yeah.
And she would literally come to the salon and cook breakfast every Saturday. I'm talking about grits, bacon, eggs, orange juice,
Mm,
mimosas. Every Saturday. She did it for probably almost a year straight at one point.
wow.
And then we had a reception. The receptionist quit or something. She was tired. She was overworked. I ain't gonna say her name. My mom was like, I can do it. It was a lot. It was a lot going on, but she played a role to where I was able to go sit vent to her.
Yeah.
Couldn't vent too much to my mama though, because my mama the type of mama that you tell her too much, her body might get hurt. So I gotta be like, I tell my auntie Terry, and she'll be a little bit more calm, a little bit. But yeah, but mama did a lot. Like my boys were able to like stay with her for weekends at a time.
Yeah.
You know, some point weeks, like a couple weeks pass, and I'm like, oh, family, I'm done. It's at the end of the month, But
Right.
especially the summer. So yeah, I was able to get a
Yeah.
lot done because of family,
Yeah. Yeah.
especially my mama. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think this misconception, especially it's like a Chicago type attitude that we gonna make it on our own. We do everything ourselves, and the truth of the matter is that you can't do nothing yourself. And just hearing about your mom and her support, and I've seen you with your siblings too. You got a pretty close knit family.
Yeah.
How
Mm-hmm.
what role do they play in with helping you to just stay stable?
Oh man, that'd be a whole book. Um, that'd be. And this my students be saying. They be like, Miss Ray, you got a story for everything. I literally do. I done been through so much. Um, let's see. My grandma's the prayer warrior. She'll pray over any location or business I want to start or think about starting. She's the first one to say, "Sit down, relax, you're doing too much." My mama like Debo. My siblings are so my sister. I start with my baby sister. My baby sister Britt. Brittany is that's my right hand boo. That's my boo. She does culinary arts. She does hair. She does nails. She does eyelashes. We started a makeup line. She launched a makeup line. So they were in tune. My family has two nail techs, three barbers, two barbers, um, three hairstylists, three cosmetologists. Um, that is so many.
Hmm.
Everybody does something similar or has a passion of something in the beauty industry, even if they have not like ventured off on it.
Yeah.
But professionally licensed, I think we have three people that's licensed in the family doing service. But everybody had their part. Everybody had their part. I go to my granddaddy for money. I go to my oldest sister for help. She's been like my number one client from when I started. All
Mm.
my siblings were like my people. They were my test people. Let me practice this on. Let me practice this on you. Let me do this on you. That was all of them. My aunt was my receptionist, cashier, security. She did everything. Like everybody did a role. My family was a big support of me just getting started. Like they were my very first clientele in the
Yeah.
basement while in beauty school. That's I have a shop in the basement. You know. So yeah, that
Yeah.
it did it a lot. Do a lot. It'll be a whole book if I break down everybody's actual role though.
I think the reason why I wanted everyone to hear that though is because that would be like my first antidote. The first thing, if I was talking to students or talking to somebody come up under me, is that you don't have to do it by yourself, and you really need a support. You need a support system to kind of lean on. You need somebody like your grandmother to tell you you need to sit down somewhere. You need somebody to step in, and when you fall short and somebody is missing, we need a Miss Peaches. Everybody needs a Miss Peaches. I never met your mom in person. I only heard about her in passing.
Oh, you heard about my mama in the streets.
But I do know that everybody needs a Miss Peaches. Miss Peaches, thank you so much. I know you in the chat. Thank you, because the the support that I saw your family give you, especially when I came to Taco Tuesday, it like really, really encouraged me to just make sure that I not only build stronger relationships with my sibling and my parents, but also pass that on to other people, to just ask them more about their background and
Yeah.
who their parents are and their grandparents. And I end up meeting people that they may not have that family dynamic, but they
Mm-hmm.
have somebody. And I also have certain situations where somebody may legitimately not have anybody. I'm gonna open up my doors.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
And
and
that's one thing they've always done for me.
Yeah, that's good.
They've always opened up their doors for me on many of different levels. But like now, you said my mom was in the chat. I told her about I was doing a podcast with Mike, and she's like, "Oh, like you gonna be on camera?" Like she's just like, "Oh," and then so they must have seen it. Whether I don't know if I sent them a message about it or if they saw it on social media posts, but they're like always there. Like that's
Yeah.
this is an example now. Like them,
Yeah.
as old as I am, they're still always there. So
That's good.
and
That's good.
that's what I always knew. Like if I ever felt like in a time frame where you didn't have someone, remember I was telling you I felt like I was being used, or then I felt left out from like events and stuff like this. They know I'm working, type of thing. That was the attitude I had. They know I'm working. Why they book it on this day? But
Your mom says
I
she's not
go to
going
my family
nowhere.
house. Like you said, a lot of people don't have as big of a family as I have. I'm able to it's so many of them. Go to one of their houses and chill, hang out. We'll create our own party, and that's what we end up doing. We're a party within a party ourselves.
That's funny. That's
Yeah.
funny. That's funny. So the first thing I would want to leave your students is like, don't burn bridges. Don't burn
No,
bridges with your family. If you can keep strong relationships with your family,
don't need them.
you're gonna need that. You're gonna need that.
Mm-hmm.
Time management. After 25 years, and where you currently at now that you're able to breathe and be back in the classroom, what would
Yeah.
be some practical ways that you would advise your students on how to manage their time?
One more time. You said what practical way would I?
What's some practical ways that you would advise your students now after 25 years of experience? What are some
Mm-hmm.
practical ways you would advise your students now to help them with time management?
Prepare. Prepare for sure. Write the vision, make it plain, but you have to prepare for it. You gotta lay it out. That will help with management versus just acting and doing.
Yeah.
To be able to lay it out like a floor plan, pretty much on what you want your journey, because it's what it is. It's a journey into this career to look like. What else would there be? Definitely got to stay prayed up. Definitely got to stay prayed up. And we're talking about as far as management as to their time when they become the professional, correct?
Yeah, they can be. It could be professional. It can be like personal.
Oh,
I know. For me personally, I believe that everything starts with me as a person first, and then that spills out into my business and into my personal life. So for me, I always start with me. So if I'm dealing
I
with
was about to say
time,
that me time.
yeah, yeah. If I'm
Carving
dealing
it out.
with like time management, because it's still a struggle with me, I don't really have a lot of great advice with time management. But the thing that I
Mm-hmm.
have learned is that the biggest thing that I learned in the past 3 years is that everybody else's priority can't be my priority. I need to know what's important to me. And I
Yep.
need to make sure that what's important to me isn't something that somebody else put on me. I need to make sure that it's actually important to me. Because the more I make everybody else's priority my priority, the things that I need to take care of, when I actually get time to do it, nobody's
Yeah.
there to help me. And now I'm behind, I'm burnt out, I'm tired, and
Yeah.
I just keep getting pushed back further and further, and I end up getting lost.
Yeah. I like how you're wrapping it into we're not just specifically talking about the time of the hour, type of thing. This is
Yeah.
the time of how you're managing this entire big bubble that that you'll be in the industry without not picking up bad habits,
Yeah.
carving out time for yourself, staying focused. Like you gotta get that tunnel vision. Once you get consistent with a schedule or a system, you gotta continuously be consistent.
Yeah.
That's a big piece there. Also dealing with time now that I'm more techie. Oh, I love technology. I want the technology to do everything. Make the appointment form. Tell them when to come. Tell them how much.
Yeah.
Send me the money.
Yeah.
You know,
That's good.
I even want I said Alexa. I don't even want Alexa to be like your client has arrived. Like I want all the technology so I can take off all of those hats. Like because it was different. I was going to the front, taking the appointment, walking the customer back, the next one, ringing them out. You were doing all of that.
Yeah.
So that is for sure. Definitely going to use technology. What did we say? Be consistent. Self time. Carving out self-care time for yourself and your loved ones. That should have been first, and for me it wasn't. It was like, oh, I get to you when I'm done. That was a really terrible start. That was a start. What else are we forgetting with time management? I'm used to always arriving early. Arriving early. You gotta arrive, and then you gotta arrive early.
Yeah.
Ain't no call offs. When you the boss, you have to have discipline, structure, and discipline. There ain't no call off.
Yeah. So arriving early for appointments. How did that play a part in the growth of your business?
Well, so I was raised to get my clothes out at night to be prepared for school in the morning, so you ain't got to waste time. I don't like wasting time. Not my time and nobody else's time. But so the goal, it ain't always happened, but the goal has been when you leave or finish up in the evening, you clean everything up. I look at my books. I see who's the first person. I set up enough of what can be set up or set out for what it's going to look like in the morning. Yeah. Arriving at least 15, no more than 15 minutes. Like you meaning the stylist or the barber, the esthetician, you need to be there and prepared 15 minutes prior to the appointment time. So if you're already in the building, you need that grace to chill, set up, get yourself together, right? But people take advantage of that, and that's the habit part. And I said, don't pick up other people's habits. So the structure that they're learning now, that we're trying to get them on that time management of setting up, moving fast, being swift, being organized, knowing where your stuff is to put it right out when you need it, switch the sheets, change the blade, the guards, wash this, do that. Mm-hmm. You got all of this stuff. You got to drop a load of laundry. People forget about that time. Yeah. You think 15 minutes is enough, but you still got to sip your coffee, Yep. gotta have coffee. So that's arriving early, meaning you need to be 15 minutes. You're there and prepared, not 15 minutes to get you there 15 minutes early, but now you got that whole 15 minutes where you have to set up. No, because you're going to run over into that appointment time. Yep. You need to be already. So if we had to make it plain for some people, because you got to do that sometimes, you need to be ready at least 30 minutes. 30 minutes. Now, if that's your setup, right? And hope that starts off that day, it makes it flow. Easy. Because now all you got to do is, now your books, if your timing is correct with your service, because some people don't know. They might say, this cut take 30 minutes, but it really take you an hour. Mm-hmm. So that's why that person is waiting, because you ain't working on your speed, or maybe you need to adjust your software with your timing, that it really don't take you 30 minutes. It really take you an hour. So you can't be greedy and just put people in there. So once you start off and arrive and prepare, you can take your day and let it flow in hopes that no one arrives too late. And that's where the discipline part come in. I had to not be too soft and not be too hard on customers and employees in my team, in the sense where you got to be able to say no. I didn't know how to say no. Yeah. I was letting people do what they want to do, in the sense of, I'm 15 minutes late. I'm going to bring you some Starbucks. Okay. I'm stopping at Mickey's. You want something? Yeah, bring me a hot dog with mild sauce. Mm-hmm. Now that's running over into time. Now we're talking from a point of your own boss. So I'm speaking from that position, not a corporate where you're not going to be able to do that. But in the sand form where I control my time, that's where the discipline and the structure comes in, where it's like, oh, thank you. You can drop the coffee off, but if you're not here by 9:05, I'm going to have to reschedule you. Once I became that strict, once I got enough courage to be that person, because I didn't want to say no to people. I'm like, okay, sure, I'll do it. No problem. Come on in. Just wait. I'll get to you when I can. You
Yeah.
know, and if they wanted to wait, they're great. But once I got disciplined enough, and I would say enough courage to say no, that no became strong. I took a lot with that no too.
Yeah.
Once I got to that place in my career, like people didn't understand. They thought the world was ending. They were like, "No, what do you mean, no?" Not, but it was all of this type of stuff to deal with, the backlash of saying something as simple as no, I cannot. Yeah. We cannot. We can reschedule. But finding a way to say no, the delivery and how you say it matters, and how you have a resolution. You got to have a solution for it. I can't take you right now because you're late, but I can't take you here. So that whole thing played out. So setting up, arriving early, being consistent, being on time, getting the work done, carving out time for yourself. Got to do the self-care stuff. You don't want to burn out and be broke down. You want to look like what you've been through. That's my grandma right there. She's like, you don't want to look like what you're going through. Okay. You got to get it together. But so time management is so important. You cannot be the best esthetician. You might just be okay. Or you might be just an okay barber. Mm-hmm. Maybe you just a decent stylist. Mm-hmm. Maybe you don't even have a specialty yet. But I like coming to you because you on time. You got to be on time. The deposit is there. You ready. You got to be on time. Just think about it. When I was getting my hair cut by you, how many times if we text you like, I'm 5 minutes away. We live running up the stairs. Mike would be like, no. And you miss an appointment with you got to wait like 3 weeks now to get back on there because you got regulars that book often.
Oh, but, man, that's hilarious.
But you gotta the students have to know to focus on that whole piece of time. And this is not just for our students or people we're mentoring. This is for people that's actively in the business. Yeah. That's actively working. That's actively still trying to figure it out. Mm-hmm. And there's no judgment on anybody because it took a long time for me to figure a whole almost curse. My mama said that. To figure some stuff out.
Mm-hmm.
So
So you got your time management under control. That gives you time to now think. Yes. Now that you had time to think, those myths about being limited in resources and not having everything that you need, what have you learned in your journey that you would encourage a student who is talking themselves out of doing something? What encouraging words would you give them from your experience?
From the journey of what I've learned from my journey, from the fact that we're talking about, I want to make sure I'm clear on what the question is, which is you're asking, repeat what you said. I want to make sure that I got what you said correct.
So I set it up. Student, me. I take younger me.
Okay.
I had an idea to open up a barbershop in 2007. Okay. And I felt like because I didn't talk a lot. I didn't have no credit. Mm-hmm. I didn't have no real support. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Because I didn't have those things. I just didn't open up my barbershop because I was so afraid of falling on my face.
Ooh, that's good. Okay, I got you now.
And I just didn't do it. I didn't move. I got frozen because I was so afraid, mostly of being embarrassed. What would you say to younger me?
Get out there and do it. You got to start somewhere. You got to start somewhere. And if you fearing that you're going to fail, we're all going to fail at something. We're all not going to be great. Nobody's perfect. You got to be strong to lose that fear. Yeah. Because you got to just do it. You got to do it. When that's the number one thing that people would say, that I believe people would say for failure. because you feared. You failed because you didn't start it. You didn't even start.
Yeah.
You didn't get out there. You didn't go talk to that person. You didn't even go attempt to market yourself for that person to tell you no.
Mm-hmm.
Let them tell you no first. See how it feels.
Right.
You might be okay with it. You might be a decent no.
Mm-hmm.
Might be a no, not right now. It might be okay for you, but you got to get out there. Backstory. I opened up my first salon, $500. Just boom. That's all I had left from income tax. What you gonna do? Everybody was like, no, no, no,
Mm-hmm.
no, no. Places I looked at, I got all kind of no's. I went to interview at other people's businesses to work in there. Like, I'll work with this person, I'll work under this person. And I was kind of like, I had a lot of good places that could go, but no, I couldn't. But being able to just get out there and push yourself is like the first step, and making sure that fear is not holding you back. Fear will that hurts you more than actually doing the darn thing, what you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
But this is one of the things that I talk to the students about. We just went outside the other day. I said, here, we got business cards, $10 off coupon. We don't have no clients right here in the shop right now, right? Just the clientele of the clinic floor was slow. They want a snack. And I'm like, well, let's hit the streets. They're like, what? Where are we going? They think everything, we can order that. Everything's on the phone. We can do that. I'm like, we finna, come on, you got sunglasses, you got sunscreen on. We finna be hit the street. So I split them up in 3 different groups. I said, you go that way. Don't come back until you got business cards. You go that way. Come back with some stories of who you spoke with and did they book an appointment. And make sure you tell them you're a professional student in training and that you're giving them a 75% discount. Like, put yourself out there. They came back like, oh my God, this guy said, it was so funny.
Yeah.
But they enjoyed it. But one of the young ladies was really fearful. She was just like, I don't want to do it. She was like, I don't like people. I literally looked at her like, and do you know what industry you're in?
Exactly.
That energy is going to transfer with that attitude of not liking people. But she got out there, she did it, and I ended up buying them some insomnia cookies. I think we got some cookies. Oh no, we went and sat down and ate breakfast. Actually, took an extra break, and we actually sat down and had breakfast together. So it was a really good deal. But yeah, break the fear. Got to break the fear, because everybody's not a go-getter though, right? What if somebody is not built the way I am, right? So I think about that when I'm teaching or mentoring someone. Like, as much as I want to say, just do it, I have to stop and pause. Everybody's not that way. And it's not a bad thing. It's just, we're all uniquely and wonderfully created differently, right? Mm-hmm. So let's figure out some way that will work for you. That would be something I would tell a student if they say they were not fearful, but they didn't know where to go. They didn't know where to start. Let's figure out what you want the end game to look like. And now let's figure out the A part. Let's see where we can start and how much progress we can get in the middle in the B. So it's like an ABC, right? We're going to get to C eventually, but we got to start here in A. We got a lot of work to do in B right here, right? So but we got to lay it out and we got to stick to it. And if a curveball come or life just happens to happen, because I'm used to it happening to me sometimes. So you got to figure it out. You got to keep going. You got to figure it out. You just go back to look at where you were trying to get to. Don't lose that. Figure out a different direction to get there. And that's usually like how I would do things if I was speaking to someone who is not eager to jump out there because they're in fear of whatever their fear may be. Maybe it might be people. Maybe it might be, whatever. I don't know. I have one student that's fearful from getting sick because we're leaning over someone doing the facial, and somebody told her it was weird to still wear her mask. And I'm like, that's not weird. You're protecting yourself, Yeah. But she was listening to other people give information, that's not factual, So, but yeah.
Yeah.
I'm talking a lot. We don't need 10 series.
No,
10
dude, you all
episodes in
good with
one
me.
series.
You all good with me.
You should have put me on the camera, Mike. Should have put me on the camera.
so so for that for that student that is building a relationship with their circle, with their family, right? And they're finna get ready to step out and they're showing up early and they're managing their time well and they're taking their time and they're perfecting, they're showing up, they're being consistent, and they're taking that step and realizing that they shouldn't stop themselves from doing the things that they want to accomplish, especially if they become fascinated of this thing happening that hasn't even happened yet because they hadn't started.
Mm-hmm.
At some point in time, once they get going, it's going to be this temptation to overwork that can lead to burnout, that can lead to being isolated.
Yeah.
How would you advise them to navigate through that so that they can not feel that pressure of burnout as much as they can and to avoid
So
the
they don't reach
isolation?
the point of burnout.
Yeah. Yeah. How would you advise?
First thing I would say is like breathe, stop and breathe.
Yeah.
And however you want to break that breathe down, breathe, stop and breathe, and go back to your game plan, because sometimes life throws us off track, and you try to do so much to keep the build the clientele. I'm gonna say from a standpoint of not ownership, right? Because students coming out, I prefer for them, as a mentor, I would say, don't run out there and get that suite. I tell them that all the time. Don't go get that green wall grass with flowers that everybody got in the SC spa room. Okay, that's not why we're here. But yeah, so you gotta stop and just breathe and think about I don't want to burn out. It's so much that they could do to not get to the burnout phase, which would be like as simple as finding a good home, a good salon to work in, where
Yeah.
somebody's in there with wisdom that will help you when you find those little hard places. I'm always a phone call away, but in some cases you're gonna need somebody physically right there. And in those moments, being by yourself in the suite or in your basement, is not. It can work. I'm never going to say it can't work, right? But you're gonna need to be around other people like you, because you're gonna, I miss those times when I did have my private suite alone. I'm like, I miss people because I'm a
Yeah.
people's person. I'm like, where's the people? I'm like on other people's suite. I became friends with everybody else in the building. Like, so what you eating today? What you
Yeah.
doing? Like, I got 15 minutes. You want to walk to the store? Because I was bored. I wanted other people. I wanted to hear other people's conversations. I wanted to talk with coworkers in the break room. I miss those things. So
Yeah.
I would tell students to just stop and breathe when they feel that anxiety or whatever coming on. Listen to your body, because at some point your body's going to tell you when you need to stop. Anyway, every time we get near burnout or exhaustion, your body is giving you some kind of signal. Yeah, something's going indicating that you're doing too much, and we just try not to listen to it.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. You have a student that wrote in the comments. She says, I feel blessed that I have Miss Raveece as a teacher. She is such an inspiration and an awesome instructor.
Oh, who said that? Thank you. I can't
Estefani?
see the names for some reason. I don't know. Maybe
Does
it's because the way I got my phone. I don't know. But thank who?
Estefani? Is that how you say her name?
Steph. Hey, Steph. That's my
Maybe
fake
you might
daughter.
be able to see the
Thank you,
chat.
Steph.
If you're on your phone at the bottom of your screen, you might see the chat button at the bottom of your phone.
Oh, because I got it sideways. It's on the side.
Yeah.
I be nervous that because I ain't got no fancy equipment. I see now.
You can see
Okay.
it?
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. I
Nice.
appreciate your
Oh, I
comment,
can see.
Estefani.
Okay, now I hope I don't exit out the whole thing. Oh, I did it. Look at me being great with a new app. Look at me. But no,
that
thank you, Stephanie. That definitely that right there is why I don't mind putting in my hours of education. Like If something, one thing I can do that would help them avoid something that I went through or that someone I know might have went through,
Yeah.
that's enough right there. Like people, I'm past the point where, oh my God, I need money. At first, I didn't want to go back to in school teaching. I just want to do private stuff and get flued out. Well, they say you get flued, I want to get flued out and go teach and go teach somewhere. But money, I finally got to a point where my life is not focused or based on chasing money.
Yeah.
You know, so now I feel like I can still do me and be
Yeah.
me and teach, right? There's struggles in teaching, you know, but that is one of the things. But that right there, her comment is what makes me want to keep going because that means doing something right, some kind of way.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
somewhere.
And it's dope. And I do have to point out, you have the skill set where you very well could be part of one of those traveling teams that's on the big educational platform.
Yeah.
But the fact that you chose to go back to deal with the students, that shows a lot that your educational side of you is not about the bag. It's about really pouring back into somebody else, another younger you.
Yep,
That's pretty
because
dope.
that's what I got. I think that was instilled in me from. Shout out to Miss Tina. Hopefully you get a chance to see that. She was my mentor. This is actually my very first mentor that ever. Like, who would have thought that I would have a mentor? You know, but she was my mentor, and she saw something, and I had to trust what she was saying because I believe that she was spiritual enough. She was she was connected spiritually to where I trusted her. And I'm like, well, if I'm confused, I don't know. I got a new kid, I got a new baby.
Yeah.
I just got an apartment, and my first apartment. Thank God that my mama taught me how to fill out an application because I had low income for my first apartment. I'm not ashamed about it. Okay, 19 with an apartment, I'll take it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
First apartment, and Miss Tina pushed me every day. She texts me. This lady texts me. She like, hey, how far are you? Where are you? I'm like, I'm running. I'm almost there. I moved in Carroll Stream. The school was in Hillside, right?
Yeah.
So I took a bus, 2 buses, a train, a cab to drop Brandon off, and then I walked 7 blocks to get to beauty school. So we got car seat, diaper bag, book bag, mannequin on the train, 6 in the
On the
morning
train.
to get to school by 8:30, right?
Yeah.
So that there, I'm like, I'm tired. It's snowing. Oh no, I'm not going. She's like, okay, tomorrow's weather. She will text me the day before, and I'm like, why does this lady like me so much? Like, what does she? And when we finally got to know each other more within my what was that? Within I probably like say 4 months in, we're both Scorpios. Our birthdays are a day apart.
Nice.
We both are like alpha women, like go getters type of thing, right? And she saw me and her.
Yeah.
Did I say that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was like her younger. She's like, you remind me of me. And when that family came out, I was like, oh, why are you pushing me? I felt like she was pushing me harder than everybody else. I was being worked harder than everybody else. That's how I felt. You know, why I got 9 people lined up and on a Saturday at beauty school. You know, I'm like, and then she said, they not my clients, they your clients. Make them your clients. And I was like, you ain't said nothing but a word. I made some business cards, and that's how I had a clientele right out of school. I was able to jump right into making money because she gave me that one little nugget. These not my clients. These are your clients.
Yeah. Yeah. That's dope.
Yeah.
Raveece, for those y'all who are listening in chat and those who will be listening later, we have not even touched the surface of stories that we could talk about right now. I just wanted to dedicate this to the students, and I didn't want to overwhelm with stories.
Yeah.
But Raveece, what I am working on, I had this bright idea. It just came to me. August is Black Business Month, and Black Business Month, I really want to encourage minority business owners to really just go hard in their business, because there's a lot of resources that are now available to us that's really
Yeah.
leveled the playing field, where we really have a chance to compete now. So I'm going to be doing more of these more often, especially the month of August, to dedicate towards Black Business Month, and I'm going to do it as a series. The
Okay.
series is going to be called The New Gatekeeper. And the reason why I
Ooh,
called it that is
like that.
because the reason why I called it that is because for years it's always been a certain people group wouldn't let us thrive in the economy. They wouldn't let us
Gotcha.
thrive in the business market. Then it came down that because of economics, because of lack of financial resources, we couldn't thrive. And then it was because you had to know somebody to get into certain markets and to get certain information.
Yep.
Now in the information age, we have everything that we need in the palm of our hands, right in our phones. But yet we have been programmed, and it's been passed down to us that we can't do something. And you were one of those people that inspired me. Like, no, Raveece said she opened up a whole salon and grew a business with $500.
Yep.
The gatekeeper ain't around no more, and the new gatekeeper is a lie. The new gatekeeper is a
Yep.
lie that's been passed down from generation to generation. And what I want to do is create a series where through storytelling and even like practical coaching of like, look, if this is what you want to do, this is how you get it done. So I'm actually, this is an idea. Like you're having a moment right now. I got an idea. I'm gonna put you on the challenge. Raveece, I'm a dedicate this towards a student. I'm gonna dedicate this towards a student, or I'm gonna dedicate this towards somebody that's ready to come out of a booth rental salon.
Okay.
The challenge is, how can someone open up a thriving salon business, whether they on the esthetician side or whether they're doing hair or barbering, with a $5,000 budget? I'm gonna need you
That's
to
a right
coach.
a right now question.
I'm gonna give you a month. So like the last week in August, I want to have you come back and you're gonna
Look,
coach a
you see,
student.
I came ready. I wrote it down.
I love it.
I
Yeah,
always got paper.
so I'm gonna give
Okay.
you time. Five thousand
Okay.
dollar budget, and they're trying to grow a sustainable business with $5,000, because most people are trying to get to.
Look. Here's a trick. Here's a trick question for you to throw back at you. Do I get to pick the person who gonna own the business?
Ooh.
Because that matters. You can give somebody a platform, and every step by step with the finances to do it, and it'll still fail if it's not for the right person.
Yeah. Okay. You can do that.
Okay.
You can break
Okay.
down the character, all
I break down the
the
character of
the
the person.
character of the person,
Yeah.
everything that they
Yep.
need to have.
Okay.
So now you
I
just caught me in a
like
moment
this.
where I just
Who would
have
have
an
thought I was
idea.
gonna get homework on the podcast?
Yeah, I didn't think that either. Raveece, thank you for chiming in with me. I appreciate you a lot.
Thank you.
We don't talk a whole lot outside of this, but you definitely inspired me in more ways than what you realize. I
Thank
thank
you.
you for representing the neighborhood that we come from well, and more
Yeah.
importantly, you class of 2000. Are you class of
2001.
You class of 2001? Thank you for representing Proviso West with a level of
E-Dub.
excellence. I appreciate. I feel like it's necessary for me to shout out the areas that we come from,
For
because
sure.
people are almost ashamed to say where they come from
Nope.
for
I
whatever
put my
reason.
first business, my first two businesses right back in that same neighborhood.
Yeah, that's good, man. I appreciate everybody that's in the chat. I appreciate all the comments. Did you say her name is Stefani?
Stephanie.
Stephanie?
It's Stephanie in Spanish, but in English it's Stephanie. I think I said that
Stephanie.
right. I call it Steph.
So how do you say it? And
It's Stephanie. Stephanie. Something like that. It's
okay.
Stephanie.
Well, Stephanie, I'm talking to you now.
Sorry,
I
Steph, if I
have
messed
butchered
up.
your name. I call you Estefani. I'm so sorry.
Just
I'm so
Stephanie. She said,
sorry.
yeah, just Stephanie.
Just Stephanie. It's thank you for your comment, Stephanie. Everybody else, those who are in the chat that didn't make a comment, but you just chiming in. I can't see who you are, but thank you for chiming in. And then those who will be listening later. I want to kind of just land. I want to kind of land it here because I think there's enough storytelling that has been shown to your students, and then those that are already in business, that being in business for yourself, it is hard, but if you're able to push through it, it's very rewarding. And that time management only happens through proper planning and preparation. You gave us through you know, the myth of because you don't have certain resources you can't get started.
Right.
What you gave us is that you got to get started to figure out if you have it, right. You got to get
Right.
started first. Don't count yourself out of the game.
There you go.
And you got to be able to stay grounded and just take a deep breath, examine everything so you don't lead yourself into burnout.
Correct. Oh, that
And
was a great summary. Look at you.
and a great way to avoid isolation is to have a strong family foundation if you can. If you don't have a family, have some friends.
And
If you
family
don't,
don't got to be blood.
yeah, exactly. And in the event, those that are watching now, in the event that you don't have any of that, reach out to me. I'm gonna open up time like Ray did. I'm gonna put you in my appointment book, and we're gonna make time
There
so
you
that
go.
you have a strong support system. We
Mm-hmm.
don't have to fall into these myths about solopreneurship being so hard. Yes, it's hard, but it's rewarding. So,
Yep, this is true. But I want to thank you too. One for inviting me on the show. I'm learning a lot. As I've told you, what my goal was to hope just absorbed everything. You know how you're doing this. Like Mike is the person I know is businessman, quiet, family man. He, like you said, you're not gonna say too much, but he always got some gems, some good stuff. You can call on him, you can reach out to him. And so I'm just excited to even just see you in this element. Like, look at
right.
you. Good. I love it. I love it. And so just thank you for inviting me. There's a lot of stuff that you pulled out of me that I don't share with a lot of people, like about the depression, anxiety, all that stuff. But I give it to my students because they need it, they pull it. But other
Yeah.
people, I don't really talk about a lot of stuff. So thank you for that, because this is like a small little therapy moment. So thank you and congratulations on your show. I will definitely be available if you ever need any other topics or any help. A camera person, big camera.
Dope.
I
Dope.
definitely appreciate you.
Yeah. Thank you again, Ray. Thank you for everybody in chat and those that are
Thank
listening
you
in the future.
guys.
And you can expect for new releases of BarberSHED podcast to come out every Monday at 6 a.m. If you just so haven't heard about Who's Next podcast, that's where I interview a lot of people that come in the salon. Those are the actual clients or people I met through the clients. Those will come out on Tuesday. I plan to do stuff like this pretty often with the live streaming. And yeah, this is only the beginning. Thank you again.
Only the beginning. No problem.
All right.
Anytime.
Thank you, Eric.
All right. Thank you. Have a good night.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
Yep. And just leave the app open until it will upload. All right. So everybody that's watching now, you seeing this weird close right now. You don't really know how to close, but I'm out of here now. See you later.